Welcome back to EleFun Escapes Wild, and today we're going to be doing something slightly different. We are going to be on the trail of some of Africa's largest animals and their dung deposits. Yep, that's right, dung folks. Today we're going to be having a look at the poop of the white rhino. So before we get started with our poopology lesson for today, we want to give you the answers to the questions we asked you a short while ago. So, number one, what was the fastest land mammal here in the African bush? A lot of you answered cheetah, which is absolutely correct. Number two, how much food does a big male elephant eat in one day? 620 pounds, which is roughly about 300 kilograms. So spot on, well done to you guys. And number three, can a hippo breathe underwater? Unfortunately, a hippo cannot breathe underwater. However, they can block and seal their nostrils as they go underwater and hold their breath for 5 minutes and longer, which is pretty incredible. Well done to all of you who took part and answered the questions. So the one thing I absolutely love about being out in the bush is the signs that the animals leave behind for you. This can be in the form of tracks, urine mark, or dung. And as you can see today, we're standing inside the midden of a big male white rhino. So these guys leave these middens along the boundary of their territories. Territories are a certain area in which the rhinos protect. They will mark them and frequent the corners of them, making sure that no other rhinos come into their area. However, they do share from time to time. But today we're going to focus on what this dominant male was doing here. So the question you might be asking now is, how do we know this is a white rhino midden? And I'm going to tell you exactly how. White rhinos are grazers, so they feed purely on grass, which means that what's coming out of their system is exactly what they eat, grass. So as you can see here, this piece of dung is made up of all the ground up grass that they feed on during the day. But what this also tells us is how poor their digestive system actually is. A lot of the pieces of grass that we see here are still whole and complete, which means they don't chew their food enough to be ground down incredibly fine. Instead, it comes out in thick particles, as we see here. So another interesting thing that we'll notice here around the white rhino midden is these two big scrape marks coming out of the center of the dung pile. What often happens is male rhinos use these middens to mark their territory. They'll come and they will poop in the middle, and they'll break it all up with their feet. Now, white rhinos have big cracks underneath their foot pad, and by doing so, they allow the urine and the dung, the scent particles, to be embedded into the foot, so all that scent is on their foot pad, and they scrape their feet out of the midden and then go on to mark their territory like that. So the dung we have here is slightly different to the rhino dung that we've just seen. This is flat, round, hard, much like a hamburger patty at home. It's the best way for us to remember it out here. But this comes from a buffalo. So if we had to break open this dung over here, you would see how fine the grass is. It has been chewed up really well, and we know that buffaloes ruminate. They re-chew their food over and over again, which means when they poop, the grass is going to come out in really small particles. That this tells us they have a great digestive system, and it can be easily seen in their dung. So this is super cool. Whilst we've been out looking for dung, we've actually come across a dung beetle. And these guys, what they do is they collect dung for a number of different reasons. Number one, to roll it away to a female. Some of them feed on the dung, some of them lay their eggs inside dung balls, and some of them live in the dung itself. This little guy is a dung beetle we refer to as the roller. His job is to roll up balls of dung. You can see he's got some buffalo dung over here, very fine grass pieces inside, and take it back to either a female so that she can lay an egg inside of it, or to feed on, which is super interesting. These little creatures are incredibly powerful, and as they're rolling these dung balls, they can actually roll up to 1,000 times more than their own weight. You'll notice that their foot structure in the front, as well as the front of their nose, kind of looks like a spade. So they scoop the dung in with the front legs and they pat it down with the nose. Very useful to have a spade as a nose. So this little guy on top of his dung ball is actually orientating himself you'll notice that when they sit on top of the ball, they're trying to take a picture of the world around them. So we call this a little dance and snap. He'll dance around the ball in a 360 degrees, and he'll take a picture of whatever's around him and then push his ball upside down with his back legs. We hope that you've learned a little bit more about poopology today, and we look forward to the next time that we get to see you guys. Keep your questions coming and keep letting us know what your favorites are. Until then.